Welcome friends, and I know it's been a long time since I did a video, so we're just gonna jump right into it, okay? Do the YouTube thing, hit the like, subscribe, comment down below if you like the theory, you want to hear more. I greatly appreciate it. Let's just jump right into it, alright? Hollows and the power of the Soul Reapers originate from hell. Evidence number 1, Miasma of hell. So this is my first piece of flimsy that I'm calling evidence for this theory. So we know that Kubo worked on the fourth Bleach film, Hellverse, and we all know that other people did so much work that Kubo felt undeserving of the producer title. Not that the elements of the Hellverse were just made up and he wanted no part of it. Because between the film, the promotional Hell chapter in the manga, Hell's debut in chapter 12 of the manga, and the one-shot most recently, we see consistent strings tying them all together, Xyalopro being one, the butterflies being another. But I think there are more Hell appearances in the manga that Kubo left unmentioned, as noted in the Hellverse movie that the Miasma of Hell causes Ichigo to holofy against his will. Then I noticed we've actually seen this same Miasma before, or something similar. In chapter 62, during Ichigo's Shattered Shaft training, Kisuke possesses a gas that causes Ichigo's chain and holification to quicken. I don't believe this to be a coincidence. The premise of the film is that denizens of Hell need Ichigo's power to break open Hell. This plan originates from seeing Hollow Ichigo's rampage against Ulquiorra. So that means this was an integral plot point for the film. Kisuke has gotten his hands on illegal equipment before, so this isn't really out of the ordinary for him. It's not out of character either, because he has gained access to worlds before, and he's really good at replicating things, as Kubo stated Kisuke copied Tenjiro Springs from one abandoned one he found in the Rukongai. The similarities and effects of this gas has on Hollow specifically are just too suspect in my opinion. If the gas affects deeper, darker emotions like it says in the film, why are the Soul Reapers in Quincy unaffected? This will also connect to my third argument later, as I think I know why these people are unaffected. Argument 2, stigma markings and black chains. This is another loose thread that I find to be too close to be called a coincidence. Stigma and chains. Now I'll explain what both are separately and then connect them together. So stigma markings are those face tattoo-like images that Arrancars have on their bodies after they become a Arrancar from Hollow. Stigma appears as some type of scar-like tissue to indicate where the mask of the Hollow was torn off. Ichigo, Grimmjow, Ulquiorra, Neliel, Xyle, Tyr, just to name a few, have these markings on their face or body, and some seem to actually reflect this of their nature with their shapes and meaning, like Ulquiorra's tear-shaped stigma. Now, from what little we see of ghouls, hollows who have become denizens of hell, we see tattoo-like markings on them as well, instead of actual black chains in some cases. They have their chains imprinted on their skin like tattoos of chain links. In Xyalopro's cases, both his stigma and black chains tattoos actually amalgamate together on his face. And what's consistently seen aside from these chains are portions of the body completely covered in black skin. Now, even this type of appearance is not new to us. We've seen two hollows have similar body types to these without actually having to be denizens of hell, but they do look hellish. Ulquiorra Ciphers Segunde Etapa form, which I might add feels like foreign Ryatsu to Uryu, to whom at this point has encountered every soul type in Bleach thus far, aside from the Soul King and ghouls, and the second being Ichigo Kurosaki in his fully hollified state. He even retains these black chest tattoos that emanate from his hollow hole, just like the ghouls do in his Horn of Salvation form. When Kubo wants to make these races and or soul types distinct from each other, he changes their aesthetic. So why do the hollows and denizens of hell have so many coincidences in their forms? You could say it's because only hell denizens we've seen this far are hollows, but certain aspects do not add up. For example, why does Ichigo and Ulquiorra look more hellish as they ascend further towards being a hollow? Quincy's look more angelic as they get more powerful, and yet Soul Reapers also look more hellish as they get more powerful. It's a little weird. Argument number 3, the world split. Hollows seem to be stuck in this new world and not naturally a part of it, and I say this because they had to have a separate realm for them created when the world of the living and Soul Society were created, despite being quote-unquote present in the primordial world. Shouldn't they have already had a natural area kind of carved out for them? Or at the very least not destructive to the status quo even in the primordial world? So much so that the Soul King has had to lead a war of extermination? This world reflection is also reflected in the dichotomy of the souls. Quincy and Soul Reapers are considered opposites, yet the opposite of hollows are pluses or regular souls. But the only soul that can actually quote unquote survive soul suicide by hollowification are pluses. Soul Reaper and Quincy just outright die. This perception is further enhanced by the fact that the world of the living is used as a lid for hell, placing it between Hueco Mundo and hell. And that the hell chapter says hell sits beside earth almost like a reflection of it. So much so that they are likened to fish competing for the same resources. This leads me to believe the Soul Reapers did something even more devious than just maiming the Soul King. I believe they are occupying a world that doesn't belong to them. It is weird that the Quincy, who can manipulate Reishi, are stuck in a world made of Kishin, physical matter. Yet Soul Reapers are stuck in the world of Reishi, where they can only manipulate the power within themselves and need tools to manipulate the world around them. The world split may have been more than just creating a cycle of life and death. It may have been to usurp the Quincy and put themselves, the Soul Reapers, as masters of reality, and left it in a state that requires them to sustain and balance it, or else it falls into the Dangai. It's furthered by the oddity of the fact that Quincy can manipulate the shadows and time, not so different from the Dangai itself. Yet Rukia calls her power in chapter 1 dark energy. The Soul Reapers may actually be inhabiting the original homeland of the Quincy using a power from another realm. And we know that regular souls can acquire this dark power that Rukia spoke of. Shinigami powers can either be transferred into a plus by someone who already has it, or these powers can develop once they reach Soul Society. This phenomena is not present in Quincy or other races for that matter. To become a Quincy, you have to do it with Yuha's blood. It has never been demonstrated to be passable like those of the Soul Reapers. So based on what I've said in this section, the dark power Soul Reapers may possess could be what keeps the denizens of hell in check. Wardens, if you will. Because we see that Soul Reapers essentially become the Kushinada of hell once they are ritualistically sent there. In the one-shot, the movie, as well as chapter 12 of the manga, provides us these hints as things are consistent between them. Kushinada are large and humanoid, like with seeming personalities, and even wear armor not too different from what is seen from Soul Reapers. Strong Soul Reaper souls are sent down so they do not damage the balance of the worlds with their power. The ritual itself is interesting as you just need any old hollow as a conduit to hell. Why are they a conduit, meaning the hollow? In the first place, they don't necessarily go there upon death. The only hollow souls that we know of that go to hell are those who have sinned as humans, as we're told by Rukia. But the soul of the hollow does not specifically have to be an evil soul prior to being a hollow to be used in the hell ritual. Meaning there is a connection between hollows and hell itself. This also plays into my natural hollow theory, but let's not get distracted. Photoplasm is also mysteriously dark and reactive to Soul Reapers. I wonder if this is the actual dark power Rukia referenced. And the only soul ribbons that look different from everyone else's are Soul Reapers, being red instead of the regular white ones. Even Quincy's have regular white ribbons. There are too many idiosyncrasies around Soul Reaper powers and their ability of transference to be a coincidence, especially with Kubo as an author. And the only way for hollows to gain this dark power of Soul Reapers is removing their masks and becoming more human-like. So this all means one of two things in my mind. The Soul Reapers could have abandoned their duty and moved into the primordial world that originally belonged to the Quincy and pluses, then eventually took over as everything sits now. Or regular pluses began stealing this dark power from hell to match their Quincy brethren, which not only gave them soul chains, but also freed the hollows, which led to the Soul King facing them down in his war of extermination, and then eventually leading to how things are currently. Well guys, that's my theory. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below, and have a good day. Bye.